Frazier and Maestro Styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
What up, folks? Welcome back. It's a brand new episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We are streaming live on our Twitter handle at Barbershop SPOR2, also on the Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, along with the IG Live at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, and also on our Twitch channel. It's your homie Trey Frazier, and that's the kid Maestro Styles.
Yes, sir.
What's good, man? What's going on?
Grown ass man out here. How you?
Same here, bro. And work been kicking my ass past couple of days.
Yeah.
The new gig and everything.
Yeah, for sure. Hey man, you know, that's how I go, man. We chip at it, we do a little bit every day, and hopefully we make, you know, whatever your goal is. And you know, and then you get ready for the next goal to chip at. You know what I'm saying? This shit is just a never ending grind. Make sure you find some rest in between, bruh.
Yes, sir. Hey, we got a great show this evening. Got a few announcements and then a PSA, if you want to call a few announcements a PSA. We got a guest coming in, and first off, just shout out to everybody that's been on with us, you know, the last several weeks in doing all of these NFL division preview shows, you know, talking about their teams and the rest of their divisions and all that good stuff. It's been some dope shows in the past, and we got another dope one tonight. We're doing the AFC South, which we got some news coming out of there from earlier today, and a good friend of ours from the past has been on with us a couple of years ago, Meghan L Hall with USA Today. She covers the WNBA for USA Today and is a Colts fan. The last time she was with us, she was doing some stuff for the Colts for USA Today. Now she's fully into WNBA talk and covering the league and covering the Atlanta Dream home games as well. So she'll come on with us, you know, break down this division, talk about Daniel Jones being the week one starter, and you know, and all that and all that good stuff. Can't wait to talk about that, man. Oh God. So looking forward to having Meghan come on. Second announcement. We've announced that this is the 10-year anniversary of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We're going to be celebrating the 10 years pretty much from now all the way into the end of the calendar year. We told you last week we got some updates coming, and now we got a couple of updates here. So let's start off here. And if you're watching us live on any of our social medias right now, so the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, the 10-year anniversary short sleeve t-shirts are on sale on our Shopify website here. So if you got your phones out, scan the QR code. You know, these shirts come in black, white. We got large, extra large, double X.
They exclusive. Once we sell out, we ain't making no more. That's what you need to know. So if you rep the podcast, you know you rock with us. You've been rocking with us for 10 years, or you know however long you've been rocking with us. Fuck with us if you really fuck with us, man. We doing these exclusive limited edition. Once we sell out, we're not doing it again. You will have limited edition Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast merch, and in my world, I like to call it art. You know what I'm saying? So limited edition. If you want to have that this encapsulated as a listener and a supporter of the podcast, go ahead, scan the QR code, holler at us. We'll shoot you links, whatever we need to do. But is that limited edition? Once we out, we out. You're gonna be the only, you know, I guess 24 to 30 people that have it in the world.
Yeah, that make you special, y'all. Like to get these t-shirts and to be able to sport these things for you rocking with us for however long, that means you a real one for copping one of these.
We
So
appreciate anybody supporting who has supported in the past, who will support in the future. But this is for the A1 day ones. You know what I'm saying? Get this piece of history. Go ahead, scan that QR code. Go ahead,
for
holler at
everybody.
us. For
It's for
sure.
it's for everybody. If you've been rocking with us for a month and you like these shirts, go cop it. Go cop it. It's a piece of history right there. Also, too, I've been touting these for about a year now, and we did sell quite a few of these early on, but I still got quite a few left of these hats. New era snapback hats, gray with the black netting on it, snapback joints. Still on sale here. So like I said, if you're watching this on any of our social media, just scan that QR code, and got a whole brand new online shop, y'all. We rolling with that way. So, and then this is the one, and I'm rocking it right now. Red, white, and blue joint, Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, trucker hat. These are also exclusive hats that will not be made once these are sold out. So if you get a chance, folks, go ahead, man, copy one, scan this QR code, and you know, do it for the culture, man. We try to put our best efforts to bring you the best content possible and the best merchandise possible. So, Maestro, I'll let you handle announcement number 3. I guess it would be.
Oh,
I'll,
all
I'll,
right. Well,
I'll let you.
thank you. Well, thank you for throwing that to me, man. It looked like my internet just lagged. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your screen definitely
Look like it
froze.
just froze. Right. I don't know what's going on right this second, but pardon that. Look, man. We are going to do our very first fight watch party September 13th. Let me get the venue and address right. I don't wanna mess that up. But on September 13th, man, we are gonna do we're gonna do a fight party for the Canelo Alvarez Bud Crawford joint. It's going to be September 13th, obviously, at Nottingham's Tavern. That's in Columbia, Maryland. So if you're in the area, 8850 Stanford Boulevard in Columbia, Maryland, we're going to do our very first fight party for the culture, 25 at the door. We're going to be out there. We're going to be my next unexpectedly stopped. Okay, let's find out why that happened. Can you still hear me, Trey?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
I don't know why my
Oh boy, they trying to stop the machine, man.
yeah, I don't know what it just did, but let me give me 2 seconds to connect that camera once again. All right, let's try that again.
All right.
Yeah, man. September 13th, man. We doing our first fight party, our first Barbershop Sports Talk podcast fight party. Canelo Alvarez versus Bud Crawford in Nottingham's Tavern in Columbia, Maryland. The actual address is going to be 8850 Stanford Boulevard in Columbia, Maryland, man. $25 at the door. Come, kick it with us. We're going to chop it up. We're going to talk some sports shit. We're going to sell some merch. We will have the 10-year anniversary shirts on hand, the hats on hand. We just gonna kick it, man. Enjoy the fight, man. Have some drinks and talk some good shit, man. So if you in the area, if you want to come down, if you're not in the area and you want to come down and kick it with us, come through and chop it up with us, man. We'll get all the pictures, flick it up. Any take you ever heard me say that you want to argue with me in my face, we could do that. You know what I'm saying? Any take you want to argue with Trey in his face, you could do that. And we just gonna chop it up, man. So definitely September 13th, 8:30, Nottingham Taverns, Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. You already know where I'm going with it.
Crawford is.
You already know where I'm going with it.
About to whoop this dude.
Yeah, I was watching something on Instagram yesterday. I guess they had another press conference recently. And I felt a little let down because at this press conference, we went to go see in New York when they did their
Yeah,
first press
Fanatics Fest.
conference.
Yep.
But the second one, Bud Crawford he was talking. Like he was, like he was talking that talk on this one. So I felt a little let down that he didn't talk that talk while we was in the building. But he definitely talking that talk now. He ready, like I said, I'm not putting my money against Bud Crawford no time soon. He's about to beat the dog shit out of Canelo Alvarez, and that's why I stand with it. So when y'all see us at the venue and you feel like something different, or if you feel the same, come holler at me. Let me know how you feel, because I'm you know where I'm standing. If I wasn't out, if I didn't have to rep the brand, I'd be wearing some type of Bud Crawford shirt. I ain't gonna hold you. I'd be wearing something that was, what I'm saying. But I gotta rep the brand that night. But yeah, man, definitely come out September 13th, 8:30, Nottingham Taverns in Columbia, Maryland. We are gonna do our very first fight party, and also come celebrate. Tell us congratulations on 10 years, man. Because we like Trey said, we definitely celebrating all year.
Yeah, so I just got a couple things I want to add to this. So first off, shout out to the good folks at Nottingham's Tavern for allowing us to, gratiate their space and their establishment for this event. This is going to be, like Maestro said, our first event, let alone first watch party. This will be one of our first event. Will be our first event. So, shout out to the folks there at Nottingham's Tavern. So I will set up links for those that are interested to pay the $25 cover charge, and we got to get you guys on a guest list. So when you guys get there, you just let them know you're here for the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast watch party, and then they'll, to give you a wristband, and then they'll, let you through the back door and all that stuff. So
yeah, and all them details would be, I'm sure, in the literature, when you purchase the ticket.
Yep,
we'll have all the directions.
For sure.
We'll have all the directions. We ain't got to bust it all the way down for them like that.
No. Just wanted to let them know that this is, this is what it's going to be, and there will be more. There'll be links on our socials in regards to this, so that you guys will be able to pay for your ticket, ahead of time. So, looking forward to this, man. This is exciting. It's certainly not. It's certainly no fun in trying to plan this thing for sure, but we finally got the logistics all straight, and now now here we are. Now it's it's about getting folks to come out. So
man,
looking forward to it.
I won't stretch the I guess the moral conversation about what it takes to plan for those types of parties, but in my recent days of life, man, I've been on this real kick of, man, what a privilege to be stressed out and tired from the shit that we actually asked for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that we want to do in life. Like, you know what I'm saying? So God bless that the stress that it takes to put on to do the things we want to do. And and thank you for the obstacles, being in position to even have obstacles to do this thing that we've been wanting to do for a long time, man. So, what I'm saying? I'm just we just gonna put our head down and work, man.
Yeah, for sure. We got people working behind the scenes with us too. So
shout out to the team.
Want to give them a shout out. Want to definitely do that for sure. It's not just us, putting this thing together here. So, all right, man. I'm ready for some sports talk, and I'm sure you want to talk John Wall here as he officially announced his retirement from the NBA.
Yeah, not too much, man. I mean, congratulations to John Wall, man. I mean, John Wall. Look, man, I am 40, and along the rich history, however you define the history of the Bullets/Wizards.
I'm about to say, don't leave the Bullets name out now.
Yeah. However you want to, where does John Wall fall in that category for me? For me, is number 2. it's Gilbert Arenas and it's John Wall for me. You know what I'm saying? And look, I wouldn't be mad at anybody who had John Wall as the number one, bullet slash wizard of all time. It's because
Mm-hmm.
me being from here is not just about stats. I'm sure there's you go back to West Unsailed and back in the
Yeah,
70s. I'm
Elvin
sure, yeah,
Hayes,
you know what I'm saying.
Gus Johnson. Yeah, yeah.
Obviously there are players who had maybe more statistical achievements, but
Championship.
yeah, obviously that. But when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to John, well, I'm 40, and when it comes to that, for me, Gilbert Arenas and then John Wall. I don't club a whole lot and hadn't a whole lot, but I know where John Wall was at in 2014 and 2015. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, um, John Wall is not just on the court, bringing that being who he is on the court, but who he is to the community, who he is to the party, like who he is to the community. It never falls short on me. I guess my one of my biggest memories of John Wall is I think he was with the Clippers. I think the last team he was on, and
Yep, I know where you're going.
he played the Wizards, and
Mm-hmm.
he did something. I don't recall what happened, but he got up on that. He got up on the table, scores table, and said, "This my house. This my shit." And even in a Clippers uniform, it felt like you right. I don't remember if we won or lost that game. I don't remember anything about that game outside of the feeling that, you know, he got up on that scores table and let his fans know that this still his shit, and we nobody was mad. Nobody was mad. I mean, like there hasn't been a lot to root for unless you a diehard Wizards fan. There's not a lot to root for right now, and it hasn't been for a few years. So, for him to, that we celebrated that. I don't know if celebrate is the right word, but we it's like you right. You right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I certainly don't love the way we dealt with John Wall while I understand it. I certainly don't love it, but John Wall, congratulations. You're not a Rocket, you're not a Clipper, you're a Washington Wizard.
Oh yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I was just gonna say, as you were talking about that moment in the Clippers uniform, that nigga hit a game-winning shot.
Yeah,
That's why.
I
That's
don't
why.
remember what happened. Yeah.
Well, it can only be one thing for a dude in the opposing jersey to get up on a scores table of the home team and do that. And that one reason is that dude hit a game winner or last second shot to win the game. So that was epic. I will say that's one of the epic moments of John Wall in his career, and
And
really and Wizards, even though he wasn't wearing the Wizards jersey at the time, but that, folks, you said it, folks that pay attention to the Wizards, that are, faithful Wizards fans, revere this guy all around town. I mean, the dude had it, and I'm sure it's still up, but the mural of him on the side of Bench Chili Bowl, the park at 14th. I mean, it was almost as if he was from DC with the way he carried himself in and around town, the charities, all the community service and all that stuff. It was just as if he was a guy that not only played in DC, but it was as if he was from DC or from the DMV area as well. I wish that he could continue his career. Just the injuries on the back end, particularly when I remember when he signed that deal with the Rockets, and I thought, okay, this guy's career is gonna, continue, to flourish a little bit, and it just never happened. And I guess he stopped playing ball for a while there. Hadn't really officially announced the retirement as of maybe a couple of years ago. It's been about a couple of years since he's
Yeah.
been out of the league, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I just want to say, as a guy that's watched him, play, gone to a lot of Wizards Knicks matchups, and had the pleasure of watching him play. Congratulations on a solid NBA career.
For sure.
It much well deserved. And the Wizards, message for them: hang that man jersey up, that Cat one. I think he deserves that.
Yeah, I agree.
Hang the man jersey up.
Hang his jersey up. Along with Gilbert Arenas, by the way. I'll leave it there. I was gonna go down a rabbit hole about who else do you feel like, because
we got time for a rabbit hole, bro.
Well, you gotta have a real because it's not about John Wall, it's about another. I'll just ask: should Bradley Beal have his shit hung up too?
Yeah.
Now, for sure. Who in your mind? Well, no, that I'm answering my own question, because John Wall was definitely the more influential player, but Bradley Beal was certainly right there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course. He was 1A. Bradley Beal was 1A for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, hang all three of them up. Shit.
Yeah.
Say less.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Some of the stuff comes subjective for some folks, and I'm glad you put it the way you put it. You being alive for 40 years and being able to watch these specific players for this franchise, and not being able to witness the 78 championship team, for those older heads that have watched that team and, still want to revere those players, more props to it. And they deserve that. And they deserve those props for whoever, was a part of that championship team. The Elvis Hayes of the world, the Gus Johnsons, the Wes Unselds, those names when it comes to like Bullets history, when they were really the Bullets, back then, those names deserve to be reserved. The Bradley Beals, the John Walls, the Gilbert Arenases, those names deserve to be reserved as well, for sure. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Congratulations to John Wall. I won't, like I said, I won't rabbit hole. I won't continue to rabbit hole. Let me say that. Congratulations to John Wall. Well deserved. All the things. The things.
Yep. Shout out to my guy, Pays and Plays right here.
Shout out. And I would never. I don't know him for North Carolina. I don't know him for Kentucky. Like, I know he was born there. I know he played there. I know he, went to Kentucky. I know that. But he belonged to DC, bro. It just is what it is, man. He belonged to DC.
He could be a legend at his hometown too.
I'm sure he can be, but he belonged to DC.
He definitely can be. Just a note here. Always wish John Wall was a Tar Heel. He was amazing in Kentucky. Those back-to-back injuries under 6 months was wild.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I hate for his career, is just the way the injuries kind of limited him on the back end of the career. But all the praise he's deserving that he's getting on social media today, well deserved praises by people that covered him, his peers, everybody else who's watched him over the years, in DC. So again, congrats. And whatever's next for John Wall, has he been doing podcasts and stuff lately? I feel like I've been seeing him on on podcasts.
I haven't seen him recently. The last podcast, it was a year ago. It was maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago. I'm thinking about it. I don't even remember who. It might have been All the Smoke. I don't know if it was All the Smoke or Pivot. I don't know, but I know I saw him on a podcast a long time ago. Where it got in depth about how he was suicidal, when he got injured and all those types of things. But I don't remember. What podcast it was on. So
I want to share a John Wall highlight. you know, we're big basketball fans over here, NBA fans and stuff. And even though at the time my Knicks was irrelevant at this time, your Wizards were relevant during this playoff run that y'all had. Game 6 in DC against the Celtics,
Celtics, yeah.
and it looked like the Celtics was about to send y'all home on your own floor, and he hit a shot, bro, that gave him the lead, and you know, it forced the Game 7, and that was, I mean, to me, that was one of the, you know, better moments in Wizards history, and then certainly for his career, certainly one of the better highlights for him. That's one highlight that kind of comes off to me as far as like an on the court thing. So yeah, that was cool. That was dope to witness that live.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, congratulations to John Wall. I guess we've been saying it for weeks, but it's been made official that Joe Flacco is going to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns.
We knew it.
I mean, yeah, you know, but interesting enough, I saw somewhere I was in when I was working out earlier, I was watching ESPN, and I saw that that the GM said they might keep all the quarterbacks on the roster.
I think that's just
Why
sure.
even say
He
it?
said it.
Why say it?
Sure, he said it, but like, come on, man. Ain't
Why
nobody-
say anything? Like this ain't the Dallas Cowboys, and if you want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, we can, but we don't have to.
I don't.
Yeah, because you know.
It's AFC South time. It's AFC South time.
And more importantly, more of the bullshit when it comes to the whole Michael Parsons situation. But
Right.
but to the Browns, why even say that if you think, like, what's the point? What's the point? Just don't say nothing. And now, because you said it, people like me have to sit here and say, first of all, who the fuck keeps 5 quarterbacks on roster? Who does that? That's
Nobody.
First of all.
Nobody.
Second of all, I don't really want to disclose who's the backup yet. Come on, bro. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing right now?
Look.
What are we doing?
Look, he's clearly lying because look.
What is he? Is he? Is he? This the Cleveland Browns we talking about.
Yes, but he's lying. Nobody
has ever done it before. I get it.
Well, not just that. I mean, you see their roster, like they can't afford to have 5 quarterbacks on the active 53. Like that's not happening. That's not happening.
I mean, I hear you.
That's just giving the media something to talk about.
I hear you, and I agree with you. But the Cleveland Browns ain't. You telling me that they ain't got nothing better to do than to be trying to make headlines?
Stupid shit. They said some stupid shit in the past. Yes, fully aware. Fully aware.
Like, and again, let's be clear. And you know, I guess kind of more catered towards Joe Flacco being a starter. Like I said, like we've said for weeks, we all figured that he was going to start at least week 1. Give him an opportunity to give them a spark. Maybe they win a couple of games they shouldn't win, and then he'll go back to being some trash, and then they'll be back in this same situation. We know that's going to happen. For me, all right, cool. They need to lock this quarterback thing down, and I feel like they're wasting their time right now. Like with Joe Flacco, I get it.
So here's the thing too, and let's for context too, because right after we did our show last week, we find out Shador has some kind of oblique situation going on there. So which is why he didn't play in the last preseason game against the Eagles.
I think that's bullshit too, by the way. Let me be clear.
What, the injury? You think they fabricated the injury?
I do 100%.
Okay. I can't argue against your theory there. It's certainly possible. Maybe a way for them to see what Dylan Gabriel looks like in the preseason game.
But instead of just saying we want to see what Dylan Gabriel got,
Yeah,
they would rather fabricate some shit about Shedeur Sanders in case people say, why didn't Shedeur
if that's
Sanders hit
true.
the field?
Right. If that's true. If that's
If that's
true.
obviously if that's true, but I'm
Mhm.
standing 10 toes that they are liars.
But I could lean more towards your theory because of how well he played in the first preseason game. So
Right.
now
So
you
my
react. So now you react to that. So if you're a fan and you react to his performance, you're saying to yourself, "Oh, there's absolutely no way that Gabriel's going to start over him in the next game. It's Shedeur. Like you got to see what Shedeur is made of. He played pretty well. He
but
deserves the second preseason game start. So I get
but
I get that.
I don't but if the truth is, if you're trying to build a team and see what you got in your team, he don't deserve to start. He didn't deserve to start against the Eagles because you already got a glimpse of what Shedeur can do. You have to go get a glimpse of what Gabriel can do with the
I
starters.
agreed.
So
Agreed.
so so
Agreed.
Shedeur didn't deserve to start, like because this ain't about oh you had
Hmm.
a good game. Let's keep riding the horse. At least not with the
Right.
Cleveland Browns. The
Yeah.
situation is that I got two rookies and I need to see what they can do. And truth be told, I don't know. I guess Gabriel is higher on the depth chart than Shedeur, but
Right.
Gabriel was injured last week.
Right.
So
And he didn't have a really good performance against the Eagles either.
uh,
So
yeah,
um
well, he turned the ball over. I mean, I
yep.
that you ain't
Yep.
never gonna,
Saying
that's
the
just
same thing. Yep. Yep.
yeah. But in his defense,
Yeah.
uh, they played a way better. He played a way better defense.
That is true. And
You
I
know,
didn't watch that game, so I don't know
neither
how
did
much
I.
the Eagles. I don't know how much the starters for Philly played versus the Panthers starters, but we know Philly and the Panthers. We know that's two
Yeah,
spectrums far
yeah,
away from each other.
sure.
So yes, you can use that as the evaluation for how these two guys played. Also,
And
it's
by the
fair
way, I
to do that.
wouldn't. And by the way, I wouldn't. If I
Sure,
were the Browns, I wouldn't.
but fans will.
Look, I will. but
Fans will. Yeah.
look, shit. A turnover is a turnover. You could have a bad game and not throw a turnover. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
from what I can gather, I only watched the play once or twice. It was his fault. It was
Hmm.
enough. It was enough sauce on it to be hit. It was enough. It was enough. It was enough for me to say it's his. It was his fault. It was a bad. I don't agree with the decision. And like I said, I didn't look at it. 8 times from 3 different angles. But I can look at that and say, maybe not the best decision. So
Mm.
I mean, I guess in that scenario, yeah, like, bruh. But again, getting to it, like, yeah, you got to test. You had to go see what he could do against whoever Philly put out there. Just like you
Yep.
had to see with Shedeur. I have to assume that if Gabriel wasn't injured versus
Mhm.
Carolina, they would have started Gabriel first and then Shedeur second
Right.
against the Eagles.
Right.
So there's
Mhm.
that. I don't even know if Kenny Pickett played. Did Kenny Pickett play at all this week?
He's injured.
He's still injured.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
I didn't know he
injured.
was still injured. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know he
He's
was
he's
still
getting
injured.
he's getting no burn. Well, remember that's why Huntley is on this roster too because
Well,
of the Pickett injury.
right, but now I'm understanding that Huntley's not going to be on the roster anymore.
Well, we knew that. Like we know why they did that.
This is a shit show.
But look, listen. I think my point is that going back to what they said about having 5 quarterbacks, I think that the reason I think if Shador didn't play all that well against Carolina, I don't think that this story about him being injured gets fabricated. I think they come out and they say, "Hey, um, this next game we want to see how Dylan Gabriel looks," instead of just putting the story out there that he's injured. Because I think it's a way to calm the fans' expectations down. Because like I said
Yeah,
earlier, he played well against the Panthers, and in people's minds, they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna see him in the next game." And to the Cleveland Browns' credit, or if you want to call it credit, they're saying, "Well, let's give Gabriel a shot," and they have to have in their minds a legit explanation as to why Gabriel is getting the start in the second preseason game. So what better way to give a legit reason than to say the first guy got injured, so we're just going to the next guy.
Yeah, I'll end it and say Cleveland Browns, man the fuck up. Man the fuck up. Like if Shador Sanders threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Panthers, you still needed to see what Dylan Gabriel was going to do. Hey man, Shador played well, but we still need to go see what we got in our other rookies. So he will be starting against the Philadelphia Eagles. End of story. Man the fuck up.
But we love this though. They
I
in our
don't love
division,
it.
and
oh yeah, okay, I love that issue.
As far as them being bad, yeah, like as far
I love
as them
that
being
angle.
a trash franchise, yeah, we love this. We love this over here in the North. All right, y'all. Let's bring in our guest for the evening here. Let's welcome her back.
Hollywood.
Oh my gosh.
Meghan L Hall.
It's not that big.
Well,
hold on, Trey. Because I shouted her out when I seen it, and I was like, first of all, congratulations on all your successes. I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I don't follow USA Today. I just don't. And I'm scrolling, and you know how Instagram do. They just want to start throwing things at you that you ain't necessarily asked for. And I said, damn, she looks familiar. I didn't even realize it was you. And I was like, the camera is like so much. I was like, oh shit, that is Meghan. And I came on and said, damn. I came on the show that next Tuesday. I said, Trey, I just seen Meghan on USA Today, and this shit looks crazy. So congratulations to everything you got going on. That was a highlight of my Monday evening that day. We love it for you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. What a lot of people don't realize is that I've been there almost 2 years now, which sounds crazy, but I'm just shy of 2 years. And that journey in 2 years has been far beyond anything I could have ever imagined for myself.
Well, just going back to that, because you said a little under 2 years, which was the last time you were on with us, and you were just starting to get started into covering the W, and you get this gig. And first of all, I gotta say, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you've made this leap in your career. I'm seeing you at All-Star games on the red carpet. You interviewing Brianna Stewart. You getting all these one-on-ones, and I put you. I'm gonna just say this right now, because there's a lot of folks that I like that cover the W on a daily basis, from Tarika, who we had on earlier this year, Christina Williams, Roz, who does games for the Liberty, Natalie covers the league for NBC as well. I'm putting you right there with those group of individuals as far as covering the league, covering the players the way you guys cover them. And it's dope. It's just dope to see you transpire into this universe of success and exposure. So I just got to say that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that a lot. Those are some heavy hitters. A lot of people I look up to in the space. I'm still grappling with the fact that like I have a little bit of what the kids call motion in the space. That is such a foreign concept to me, really. Like I just came here with the intent to like tell stories, and the W, I won't say it wasn't part of the journey, but like I wasn't really quite sure where I was going, to be honest with you. I think when I initially was like, okay, I'm going to transition into sports full time, I really, quite honestly, the question I asked a lot of people was like, okay, where do I go? Where is there an opportunity for me to tell those stories? And so when I covered the W like that, I mean, shout out to the Atlanta Dream for giving me the chance to, cover a game, but like that changed it all for me, because I was like, where have I been and why am I just now getting here? And I started covering the W right before what most people consider the big like boom, where it was like the W's growing, and you have this historic draft class, right? And I was right there, like about almost a year before, right? And so during that whole time, to be honest with you, I'm learning the W like as I'm going, right? I'm immersing myself into every game possible. I'm taking notes. I'm giving my thoughts. I'm hopping into Twitter Spaces and all this, listening to what fans are saying, right? And like at that point, I didn't know that this would be on the other side. It was just, Meg, you need to learn. You need to learn about what you're wanting to cover, right? And so I to be here on that side now and to be mentioned with people like that is just it's crazy. I'm still kind of I don't know, still feel like I'm dreaming a little bit. So I
That's
appreciate
what's
that a
up.
lot.
Yeah. What's the travel like? Because
Yeah.
you just cover the Dreams home games, right? You don't travel with
Yeah.
the Dream, right? Okay, but
No,
as
no,
far
no.
as like the rest of the league, because I'm sure you have responsibilities with USA Today in terms of covering the other players and the other
Yeah.
teams and stuff. So what's that like in terms of the travel and then the balance between raising a family and then happening to go on the road and cover the league the way you're covering it.
Yeah, so what used to be just for the win has now kind of added in USA Today's main site as well. So I've started writing a lot more columns for them, a lot more videos for them, as you've seen. And so that has transpired into other opportunities. So, like, for example, I did Final Four earlier this year on women's college basketball. That was
Yeah.
actually with USA Today video. I went
Yep.
through them.
Mhm.
Now, I still wrote while I was down there, but like most of my content was video content that I was doing for them. And so the travel schedule is actually not as crazy as people think it might be. Like it probably feels like that because I've done a whole bunch of big events this year. But
Yeah.
like the biggest stuff I've done, or the most travel I've done, was we did Final Four, we did the draft, and then we did All Star. So if they send me to something else, like, yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
We'll see what happens. I'm thankful for all of the opportunities I get there, but I think for me, it's mostly like going where I know I can be of service to them. And right now, I mean, I feel comfortable in saying I'm probably one of the more known faces for the WNBA as it relates to USA Today. There's obviously
Mhm.
quite a few of us like that
Yep.
cover the league, but I would say I'm probably one of the more known faces now. So probably we'll get, more opportunities, God willing, get more opportunities to do that. But I think in all of that, it takes a village to balance all of this because I mean, outside of writing and doing videos and those sorts of things, obviously I'm covering dream games. But actually, what a lot of people don't realize is I cover a lot of those dream games like freelance. So that's
Yeah.
still on the side of what I do for
Got you.
USA Today. Now, obviously, the Dream are really, really fantastic, and they've allowed me to be able to, if I need something for USA Today, I can, hey, can we work on something here? Like I'll pitch that to them, and
Yep.
they've been fantastic about like helping me do that if I need, stories and people for stories and whatnot.
Dope.
But yeah, outside of that, like shout out to like my husband, shout out to my mother, shout out to my
Mhm.
in-laws, because they've all pitched in at some point to, help, whether it's me traveling and we need help for my children, or whether it's like, hey, I got 3 games this week and I need, help with covering that.
Yeah.
I would say that like my husband's schedule helps out a lot because he is hybrid. So he only works in the office 2 days a week and the rest is, at home. So that dramatically helps
Man,
my
Mhm.
schedule.
ain't
That
nothing
is
like a
not
hybrid schedule.
yeah, that's not everybody's like,
Right.
schedule. So I'm super thankful for that. My job is 100% remote outside of my travel now. So maybe I say I guess 95% remote, like, you know. Um, but um, but yeah, I just think it takes a village to be able to do that. Like I'm not able to do these things without the support from them. So
Yeah.
I actually just had someone ask me last night, like, how are you watching all these WNBA games and being a mom, like, and being a wife and working? And I'm like, listen, I watch an unholy amount when my children are in bed. Like
Mhm.
it also
Mhm.
it also helps
Mhm.
that like, it also helps that my husband loves sports. So there's never really been a time where he's like griping or upset about me
Right.
watching like sports,
Yep.
right? He's like he's
Mhm.
watching it with me, or if he's not watching it with me, he's got something on his phone too, right? So like, and we have multiple TVs in the house too. So like, if you
Mhm.
want to like go on another TV, it's completely fine. So that helps. But I know that's not everybody's like
Yeah.
situation. So I'm very blessed in that regard that I have a spouse that understands like, yes, sports is what I do. And I would also say this, like it helps, but also I get texts from him all the time. Like, hey, have you seen
Mm.
this? Hey, what do you know about this? Hey, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
like he'll ask me
Uh-huh.
about stuff and I'm like, you do realize like where I work, right? Like I've
Mm.
like
Yeah.
99% chance I've seen it before you send it to me. So let's just run it that way.
That's wild stuff. Wild stuff.
So I wanted I guess you can kind of for the uninitiated. I know Trey's a little more initiated to the W. I'm still fighting my battle, not because I dislike it, just because life is life, and then I don't watch a whole bunch of TV. That's just me, honestly. But I know that but I do want to help push the W as much as I can help, even from the outside looking in. I did read that attendance is at an all-time high, somewhere around 2.3 with a month left. So to the rest of the billions and millions that don't really know what's going on, what are some like high points going on in the WNBA this year?
Ooh, that's a deep question. There's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would say some of the bigger stuff. So, like, let's start with like the stuff that's really good. So, like for example, the Golden State Valkyries, right? They're the newest
Yep.
team in the league, right? They have broken the record for most wins in a debut season for an expansion franchise, which is 18 and counting, which is fantastic for them. They have a really good chance to make the playoffs in their first season, which has not ever been done in the WNBA. Like, expansion teams are usually really bad. Like the Atlanta Dream went like 4 and like 31 their first season. Like, expansion teams are usually not great. So to see them not only win, but how they're winning and who they're beating, like, it's really, really impressive. It's a really good story. Plus, if you ever get the chance to go out there to the Bay Area and go to a game at the Chase Center, it's 18,000 strong. They usually sell out every game, home game, right? And they call it Ball Hollow, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Playing to like Valkyries,
right.
Mystique and whatnot. But yeah, get a chance to go out there, and you'll see that it's really fantastic environment. I say that, and I haven't even been out there myself, but just listening and talking with players, listening and talking to fans and that sort of thing, it's a fantastic environment. I would say outside of that, this is the year where I feel like the most stress in trying to figure out who's going to win what award. You have so many good players that are all vying for MVP, for Rookie of the Year, for All W, for Sixth Player of the Year. Like, in previous seasons, it's felt very cut and dry. Like, here's your front runner, and here is the folks right behind it. And then, like, right now, like, I couldn't tell you really, probably outside of maybe like Sixth Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year, like, who is going to win those awards, which is that's a really good thing for the W. You got a lot of competition.
So here's my thing about MVP. So
yeah,
because look, I think Fee has been the most consistent up until the injury, obviously, but it was her MVP up until the injury, and then she's missed some games, and now they haven't lost a game since she's been out. So now fans are saying, "Oh, how valuable is she?" And I think that's kind of crazy to strip that away from her. I mean, the team is well rounded, and they got one of the all-time great. They got one of the all-time great coaches too. So
but the best ability is availability in every single faction.
Sure, but I mean, should you disqualify her completely from it, or
completely?
So here's my thoughts on it. Why do we need to see a team be bad to qualify a good MVP? Right? Like, why is that that's usually the red thread in there? Well, the team is actually doing well without her. Isn't that what we want? Like, we want teams to be able to do good, right? Because the thing is, yes, they're good enough as is to win games. Like, they've got enough talent there, right?
Right.
But the difference that Fee brings is what elevates them. They go from being just a good team that probably would make playoffs without Fee or whatever, to a significantly really excellent team that has a chance to go back to the WNBA finals and win a championship.
Yeah.
So when I hear that argument, I'm like, I really start giggling, because I'm like, why do we need if the team did bad, then would we suddenly be like, all right, like, Fee's MVP case is legitimate? It was legitimate to me before. It was still legitimate when she was playing with them. Why is it suddenly changed now? And I think that's just because people are feeding into, well, the team is really good. Is that not Cheryl Reeve coaching?
I think my argument is because it's not cut and dry per se. Then my thought is there has to be somebody who has been available, so therefore more consistent than her, just in the fact that they've been here for more games than she has.
I hear that, but I would say also outside of, and I'm gonna knock on every piece of wood because there's so many injuries, but like outside of like, I would say Alicia Gray,
Mm-hmm.
which people aren't talking about. Like Leash hasn't missed any games and she's in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
Right. But we
Yeah.
don't bring that up in terms of like who's been the most consistent, who's been around. And so I think like when we talk about that conversation, I to me personally, I don't necessarily factor like, yes, it's factored in, like, okay, if he misses time or whatever else, but like I look at it as a totality of the season. So for me, like from beginning to end, who's been the most consistent, right? And if it jumps out that it's Fee, okay, fine. If it jumps out that it's Alyssa Thomas, okay, fine, right? Whoever that person is from end to end, where are my consistent folks? Okay, that's where I start. And then you start breaking down their game. Okay, how are they on the offensive end? How are they on the defensive end? What's their plus minus? But like, I obviously I could keep going deep on like how I break things down. But like, I think it's much more nuanced when we say that. And I think the only thing that this does is open up the conversation for people to look at other people. So like right now, for example, this leaves the door open for Alyssa Thomas. She's been fantastic in Phoenix. She's averaging nearly a triple-double, which is insane on so many levels, but let alone for a forward to be averaging a triple-double. And then you've got Alicia Gray, who's been, I would say probably, she's always been in that MVP conversation, like right behind Fee, but with AT kind of coming in, she's been 2-3 depending on the day. Mostly 3, I think, right now, but she's still in that conversation. And then because Asia Wilson has been playing very, very well as of late, she's entered the MVP conversation, right? Vegas is on this really big winning streak. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, shoot, do we have to consider Asia? And I think I said it the other day, I think if Vegas gets into the top 4 standings, like if they get 3 or better, you got to consider Asia.
You got to consider Asia Wilson,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And here's the other thing. I said it the other day too, is that this otherworldly season she had last year, where she gets 1,000 points in a season. She's top 5 in multiple categories, but then she owns, multiple categories, leads the league in blocks and rebounds and those sorts of things. Like just an absolutely ridiculous season. And I feel like some of that is getting lost because the Aces had a really slow start, right?
Yep.
She wasn't shooting very well in the beginning as well. And so it kind of got lost in the fact that like Asia Wilson is still Asia Wilson, like, right? Like she's probably not going to average 27 and 12. Like that's an anomaly from last year. But I would like to think that like she's going to be in that conversation if she continues on the trend that it is now. So I think the only thing for me, at least from my lens, that it does when we start having these MVP conversations about who is actually like MVP in value is just it forces you to actually like evaluate what's going on, to look past me and say, okay, there's some other people that I probably should be paying more attention to.
Yeah, so I want to throw a name in there too. So look, I'm a Liberty fan. I'm not gonna hide it.
I already knew where you were going.
But Sabrina, and look, because the Liberty, they started off hot. Defend the champs, and then they hit a lull. JJ's missed some time, and now, Stewie has missed some games. But the one constant on this team has been Sabrina. I mean, she's had, some 20-point games. Like she's, keeping the team afloat. If I was a voter, I would consider giving her some MVP votes. I know she's not going to win it, but I would consider it. Yeah, you're right. I am biased.
It's not a bad argument either. I mean, I said it a couple of weeks ago. I thought that she deserved to be in the chatter. She hit a stretch there that was just fantastic and keeping. You're right, keeping the Liberty afloat. You got, JJ's out, Stewie's out, Niara Sabali is out, Kennedy Burke is out, Izzy Harrison is now out. Like there was a bunch of stuff happening for the Liberty for them to continue to fight there. Like a lot of it required some really like just gritty performances from Saab. So I don't think it's like a bad conversation, but I think she's kind of cooled off since then. And so I think that might, like, I would probably say if it doesn't completely slide her off some people's boards, she might be somewhere in like the 5, because on like in full transparency, when we do MVP voting, it is ranked. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you've got to come up with 5. And so that totality of votes is how they come up, with the winner. So she might get, some 4th or some 5th place votes depending on how she finishes the season.
And I have an honorable mention, and she probably won't be in this
conversation. Did she play for the Liberty?
No.
She played for the Okay. I just want to be sure.
You wild, bro. You wild, man. No, Kelsey Plum. I want to shout her out because the
Okay.
Sparks have been on some kind of tear in the last maybe 12, 13 games. I think they were
Yeah.
like 8-2 in a stretch. And when you look at some of her numbers, like, I mean, she's like top 5 in like some really important offensive categories, points per
Yeah.
game, 3-pointers made. Not sure where her assist numbers is at, but she's not that, type of player. But I just want to kind of, mention her because people thought the Sparks were going to be a team that was just going to maybe just get through the season. And
Mhm.
then next year was going to be the year where everything maybe kind of clicks for them. But, you know, bad start. And then, mid to up until this point, they've had this run. And I think I don't want to say it's solely because of her, but I think her production has matched what that team's been able to do. I mean, they've beaten some good teams along the way. So
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with you there, but I would say shout out to Kelsey Plum. Shout out to Kelsey Plum for her efforts because I think it's like they brought her to LA for a
yeah,
reason,
Yeah.
right? To be the
yeah,
general there.
yeah.
And it's through Kelsey Plum, through De'Erica Hamby, through Ray Burrell, through Azare Stevens, like
Rakia
they've got some.
Jackson, yeah.
Yeah, Rakia has, and I was about to say I was getting there to
She
Rakia.
hit a buzzer
Rakia,
beater against us. Yeah, I
yeah,
know. I know.
Rakia, oh man, that thing was crazy. That was one of the wildest shots I think I've
Wild.
seen in a minute.
Wild.
But Rakia has hit her stride as well, right? So you got this new system that they were working through, injuries they were working through, and then Cam Brink comes back, right? And also I would say this is a really underrated move, but the Sparks brought in Latricia Trammell, who used to be the head coach of the Dallas Wings, and she's an assistant now. So I think she's like a special assistant. Don't quote me on her on her
Hmm.
on her title, but like LT is a really really good basketball mind, and so I think that certainly has helped the Sparks climb out of the hole that they were in, and they now
Hmm.
have a real chance to possibly like sneak into the playoffs, depending on what they do. And I will say this, like when I talked to Cameron Brink earlier in the year, she basically was like, yeah, that was their goal regardless of
Yep.
obviously of different players, that sort of thing. And I think that's reasonably every team's goal, but like the
Yeah.
way in which she told me that let me know like no, they fully believe like rebuild or not, like we're going to be there. So I think it could get very very interesting between them, the Mystics, the Storm, who are currently floating at 8 and may or may not make it there if the Fever stay, at I think they're at like what 6 right now. Like yeah, it's a whole bunch of teams down there in that 6 through 10 range that could get real interesting. So
You
yeah, now if
said
we
you
if
said
we
float. You said float. The Storm are sinking.
hey listen, I was trying to be nice.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right.
I will listen. I'll have to get on. We'll need a whole separate podcast for me to rant about the Storm and just how deeply underwhelming
Mm,
it's been for that like
yeah.
talented of a roster. It's heartbreaking to be quite honest with you. Watching them just,
Mhm. I
I,
could chalk it up as
it's
simple as this, though. I just think, and you're right, they are a talented roster. They do
yeah
have, some good players on that roster. I just think that in those clutch moments, they just haven't been able to make the plays when it really counts. I think that's just what it really comes down to, because every loss in the last 7, 8 games has been one score games.
yeah
And I
But
tight
doesn't
just
that
and I
speak to
think
something? But doesn't that speak to something?
what about their talent
No,
or
no, not necessarily talent, but I mean, it speaks to something that's not going the right way in that team. I mean, it happens. Well, they fooled me one time. Shame on you or me. But if like at some
yeah.
point, it's just like, okay, this is just who they are, and maybe it's just a this year thing. Maybe it's a mental thing. But there's got to be something going on. You can't just keep happening, and then you say, well. I won't go as far as to say the team isn't talented. Again, trust me, I'm the wrong person to ask. But I mean, something wrong, something going wrong.
Yeah, I just don't think they're making the right plays in
Yeah.
in those big moments, down the
yeah
stretch there. I think it's just that. I honestly, because they haven't. I mean, look, they were in the top what 5, 6, early in the season. I mean, the Storm
yeah
have had a strong start to the season, and for whatever reason, these past 8, 9 games, they've just had this situation. They've been in these situations, and it's not just against the good teams. It's
yeah
against
it's
Yeah.
it,
teams period.
it's
Yeah.
against like the sky, it's been against some of these bad teams too. So
I think it's consistency is a big issue right now, right? Like I've talked about this a lot with the Storm is that like and I just mentioned this the other day that they have not won back-to-back games since before the All-Star break. And this was early July.
Yeah.
Consecutive games.
Yeah.
So that's not helpful if you go either if you're either switching games, win loss, or if you go on a really long losing streak like they were on, which was 6 games, you snap it, which is great, and then you go back and lose the next game after that. Like it's not helpful for them right now. And the thing is, because the Storm rightfully have a lot of talent, they're still in the mix even in the middle of all that. The problem is so is everybody else right now.
Yeah.
And so as teams continue to fight for their playoff lives, like this is where you really got to ask yourself who you want to be. The biggest issue, and I'll say this about the Storm, is like last year was very evident when they played the Aces in the playoffs that like they had some things that they needed to work on as far as chemistry, getting to know one another. This was the first season of Joel Lloyd and Skylar and NECA being that kind of core 3-4
right
for the Storm, right? But you can still tell the synergy was off. Things just weren't like really working, and the Aces exploited that, right?
Yeah.
But I had the same concerns I have right now of this back and forth. I'm not sure Seattle wants to be great, like sort of concerns.
Right.
The exact same concerns I had last year for them, and that was a different roster, which is just wild to me. So for me, it's like you kind of like, let's say for example, Seattle does not make the playoffs this season. Like that would be a wild
somebody losing
scenario,
a job.
It's very possible. And I'm not calling for anyone to lose their job. But what I'm saying is that if things don't change and if things aren't going correct, then they could start asking questions about where do we need to make changes, right? Whether that is players, whether that's the coaching staff, whether that's front office, like somewhere the questions will start. So that's why I just like with these teams, I was like, yes, I see this, but I'm always thinking like, where does this go like from here sort of thing. So like even if for example Seattle makes the playoffs and let's say that they win a playoff series or things like that, you have to ask yourself, is this a team that you believe could contend with the New Yorks, with the Lynxes of the world, right? Could they make a deep WNBA playoff run? And I'm just not convinced of that right now. And I think their record would probably reflect that too. And so for me, when I see that, then I start thinking past the season. Okay, well, what does this mean for next season? And now you got a whole bunch of things happen. You got a new CBA that's potentially coming, which would make everybody who's not on a rookie contract a free agent. Like that team could look different again. So those are the things that we want to think about when we start looking at these teams. Obviously, I'm in this all the time, so my brain's constantly going with this stuff. But like, if you're just looking at it from this standpoint, like this is reflective of maybe perhaps a deeper problem that we don't, we may not know about. I'm not as close to the Storm as say like the Dream or things like that, so I can't really like pinpoint to things. Obviously, I have my general like, hey, I've watched them, covered them, those sorts of things, but in my opinion, that team is just far too talented to be where they are hovering at 500 from game to game and only at an 8th seed. Like
I agree.
It's so disappointing to watch them. And like you see it, like you saw the other night with the Phoenix game, they were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then down the stretch, they get these big shots, but then on the very last play of the game, first of all, shout out to Phoenix for their incredible defense. But like in my mind, I was like, what just happened? Like,
she
was
threw it right to her. She threw it right to the opposing players. Like,
it's just
wow.
It's those moments where like either they've let things slip away from themselves or they have not kept their foot on the gas in certain games. And I think, and I'll end it here, but probably the most, I would say, damning sort of sequence of Seattle season was when the Dream were actually playing Seattle and Ryan Howard scores 9 points in 30 seconds and she just let it ring. She threw up a shot, big 3, cool. Went down the court, came back, threw up another 3, cool. And then as she described it, it's kind of essentially like what was a bad pass or what she felt like, oh, I can pick this off. She did. She picked off the inbound and threw another 3 and it went in. Like just absolutely gut-wrenching, like, hey,
mental. Seattle
probably has a chance to like add some more points on the board before the half, and they don't. And that is probably the essence of the season right there.
I hate that for Skylar Diggins.
Yeah,
I hate that for her because she's one of my favorite players, and I always wish that she would, end up in a situation where she had a real chance at a championship. Because I remember that draft with her and Elena Deladon and Brittany Griner. And, both of those players, they got rings. And, I always wanted Skylar to finally be in a situation to get one. So sucks for her.
Yeah,
Could still happen in Seattle.
absolutely.
Could still happen.
My last question. Speaking of Deladonna, can you give me some positive news, some insight about the Washington Mystics?
Yeah, you're speaking my language now.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen my tweets about Sonia Citron, I am constantly pushing my Sonia Citron agenda. And that's just mainly because I feel like she's such a glue player that is very, very underrated. I
Yep.
actually called her like one of the steals of the draft earlier this year. People looked at me like I was crazy. Like, how can a number 3 overall pick be a steal? And I'm like, well, if you turn on the film, you'll see what I'm talking about. Since before she even came to the W, I felt like her abilities to contribute to the game were flying right underneath the radar with Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles and everything else, right? Like they rightfully deserve the attention. But I felt like what was such an underrated part of their success was the ability of Sonia Citron. And I think it's because it's a couple things. She is wildly calm on a court. When I say that, like, she doesn't get sped up. There's nothing that really rattles her, and that is fantastic for a rookie. She hits these really big, timely shots. Her game is very smooth. She's disruptive on the defensive end, like all things that you want out of a player that is going to hopefully be in the W for years to come.
Yeah.
So you get that, right? You add Kiki Iriafen, which you knew what you were getting in Kiki, but even Kiki's assimilation to the W has been better than expected. There was a point towards the end of her college career when they were in March Madness, and Kiki was having to essentially like take on more because Juju Watkins had went down with an injury and that sort of thing.
Right.
She was doing the best she could, but like they had a really tough slate in front of them, and it just wasn't quite enough, unfortunately. But what I thought was very fantastic from her end was like she too, not rattled, not sped up. I mean, Kiki's first couple of games, she's going against some of the best post players in the entire league. It's Asia Wilson, it's Brittany Griner, it's Alyssa Thomas, like it's Tina Charles. Like you are just getting like inundated with all these players who know how to play very well at their spots. And she held her own. She really did.
Yeah.
Not only that, she expanded her bag too, which was something that we were wanting to see from her from the end of college. She's got that mid-range game. She's super great underneath the basket. She's even got a 3-ball that she breaks out here or there. Those are 2 players that I go into depth on with the Mystics because they are franchise-changing players. And shout out to the Mystics front office for wheeling and dealing to not only get them, but to add them to what they had. And I think I'll say this in very full transparency. When the Mystics traded away Ariel Atkins, I was like, what's happening? What you guys doing over here? Like, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And they get back these draft picks, which, obviously help out. You trade away Brittany Sykes as well, give her a chance to go potentially win a ring somewhere, be successful in the with another team. And they continue building. And the good thing for them is that the Mystics have, I would say, 2 players that like the team can rally around. They've got Shakira Austin as well. You've got a couple other folks, Jade Melbourne, Steph Dolson, Lucy Olson, like I'm Shug Sutton. Like there's a couple of really nice like pieces there to add to that team. But I think what's so particularly, I guess I would say, refreshing about the Mystics is that, yeah, this is essentially their team now, right? Like this is the 2-man sort of game, so to speak. This is their team. They are going by these two rookies, and I think perhaps that's probably what the Mystics were hoping for. And here's the other thing: when Georgia Amore comes back, good luck, because I think Georgia is going to be your sort of, like you talked about Kelsey Plum earlier. She kind of reminds me of a Kelsey Plum, a Jordan Canada sort of guard who can facilitate, who plays much larger than her size, a dog, if you will, can hit those big shots. Not afraid to play defense either. And I think Georgia's going to be a fantastic slot into that team. I think JC Sheldon is currently, fitting in right now there, but and they just got Alicia Clark too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But the head scratcher is the Aaliyah Edwards trade.
Yeah, and I'll put some insight onto that. So Aaliyah Edwards, her rookie season, very transparently, in my opinion, I don't think the front office and the coaching staff did enough by her to get her the minutes that she deserved. That's just that's my opinion. Okay. I felt like she could have had more minutes to help along her development, right? Like she was playing very, very well. You saw the potential when she played at Unrivaled. She played in the one-on-one tournament. She's basically making light work of everybody. Like clearly the potential is there, right? But then she got hurt. At the beginning of the season, she was hurt, and that opened the window for Kiki Iriafen. Well, when Iriafen starts, she's playing well immediately, and the Mystics are like, hey, we
Mhm.
can't really like disrupt
Get
this
off to a good
right now.
start.
Like, yeah, like this something's brewing here, right?
Yeah.
So then slowly but surely her minutes started dwindling. And then she got hurt again as well. She was dealing with some wrist issues. So it just wasn't like a great situation for her to be able to thrive there. And very transparently, when they drafted Kiki, I was like, somebody's going to be the odd person out. Because you had Kiki, you had Shakira Austin, you had Steph Dolson, you had Aaliyah Edwards. Like that's a lot in the front court there.
Yeah.
So somebody was always going to be the odd person out. Unfortunately, that ended up being Aaliyah Edwards, and I still think she has plenty of ceiling, plenty of room to grow. So I hope she gets that now in Connecticut. She's going to learn from Tina Charles, and that's going to be fantastic for her growth and development. You also have a UConn connection there, so hey, it works for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Aaliyah Edwards trade was one of those that like I think it's funny. I alluded to that, like I thought she might get moved, and then I think like a day later or 2 days later, it comes out, yeah, they're shopping her. So I could kind of see that one coming. It sucks because I thought that she definitely belonged in Washington, but happy for her to continue to get some minutes and get to play.
For sure.
Yeah, for real. I got a couple more things on the W. I promise it won't take long because we really got you here for the Colts. We got you here for the Colts,
and that's a pressing issue. So speed this shit up.
Well, I'll let you rock with the W because you continued the conversation. So I was like, okay, I'll just continue it. What do you make of the dildos on the court, like that whole situation there? Because the theory that I had, because
okay, this is a good
first time.
I'll allow this. This is a good conversation.
The first time this happened, right? It's like okay, somebody's being funny. You do what you got to do to get them out the building and ban them or whatever, and then more of these instances start happening. And the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking in my crazy head, like, are they trying to stir a conversation? Look, Angel's been hurt, Caitlin's been hurt, and that sucks for both players. And in my opinion, I think it sucks for the league in general, just because of their talent, and because of what they've brought the attention to the league. And so I'm like, is this? I mean, yes, it's a storyline. It's an off the court storyline, but what's the reason behind this? Like, what do you make of it?
So I had I don't know if I call it the pleasure, but it's part of my job to report on this, right? So we did some really good reporting for USA Today, which again, starting to write more for usatoday.com, but this was broken on the main site. We did some background digging and reporting, and this was a wild ride. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So what's crazy is when that first one was thrown at the Dream Valkyries game, I was at that game, and that was not a sex toy being thrown. Was not what I thought that was. Like I remember leaning over to a media member and I was like, "Was that a bot? Like what was that?" It just went flying, right?
Yeah.
And it's at the middle of the game. Like this is a tightly contested game. It's the final seconds of the game. Like everyone's intensely paying attention. It just like derailed a lot, right?
Right.
So I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, that's probably a one-time thing, right? Like you didn't think that it would continue, and then it did, and it did, and it did. So finally, against probably what I would say is my moral code, but also like my journalistic code is like, you want to find out what happened. Like we need to figure this out, right? Everybody's got the same sort of questions. Why? Where is this coming from? That sort of thing. Outside of my moral code being like, what in the, like, are y'all serious?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do the digging on it. We actually talked to these guys, right? And which that was also a ride too, to get to interview, the folks who were behind this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I had to start piecing it together. Why would they pick this time? Why would they pick the W, those sorts of things? And it's a couple of things, in my opinion, based on what they told me, and then just kind of piecing together the timeline. So W had just come off of All-Star, right? All-Star was fantastic from the standpoint of the W got a ton of exposure. Stud Buds goes viral during the weekend, right? Like there's a whole bunch of good vibes going on. So lots of eyes on not only the WNBA, but the players, everything. So good weekend. That had kind of continued right after All-Star. So they come back, games are still going, everything is cool. And so, yeah, you throw it at this game. Okay, fine. But then just a couple of days later, there's another one thrown, then another one and another one. And so finally it starts what they wanted to do. They wanted to generate conversation. That's what they told us. They wanted the conversation, right? And it was less about, oh, we want the conversation to be about the W, and more about, we want the conversation to be about us. This is a cryptocurrency group. They have an objective that they're trying to get to, right? And it was to cause disruption. So for them, what they can think of is, which is like one of the wildest things to, cause disruption, is throwing a sex toy at a game. And they knew it would cause a lot of conversation because it was the W, and because it was the object that it was, these lime green objects being thrown, right? And so it would get enough attention, where, again, rightfully they got the attention that they were looking for, which was everyone being like, what, why, that sort of thing. So to be able to do the reporting on that was not only like digesting what they were telling me, but then like piecing together what they were trying to do. So they were trying to draw attention to what they felt like was a toxic environment in the crypto space. And it was essentially, as they described to me, 1,000 versus the one. So they felt like it was inundated with scammers and influencers, and their meme coin was meant to, obviously, in their words, have fun, draw attention, that sort of thing. But they really had a much broader sort of goals. And so my question was, well, like, is this just a W thing? And they said, no, it's not just a W thing. And as you've probably seen, like, it's kind of slowed down from W games. Well, now they've moved on to other events. Now it's at comedy shows. They threw one at a Matt Rife event the other day. They took one to another comedy event at Madison Square Garden just a couple days ago or whatever. So they're still going, but like, it's not nearly as much attention as it was before. And I think, it kind of lined up with what they told us, which was, hey, I think we're done with the disruption, right? So they had a couple more pranks after they talked to us in terms of disruption. There were several more that were thrown, and some were actually not theirs. They were copycats, which is just wild to me. But some were not theirs. But then they told us that the pranks will continue, the jokes will continue, because this is a much larger goal for them.
Yeah.
But where I take issue with it is that this is very opportunistic in using the W to elevate your platform.
Yeah.
Right. This completely negates the well-being of the players. No matter what you say, no matter what you put out, they're not really aligning with what you're saying, right? If safety is a priority to you, and as they told us, hey, we told our guys, like, only throw it if you feel comfortable, only throw it if it's not going to hit anyone, or things like that. So clearly it's strategic, but like, it's not really strategic in the standpoint of like, we're not going to do this because this is disrespectful to the players in the W. This is disrespectful to the fans, disrespectful to the coaches, right? This is among all the isms, sexism, misogyny, like there's lots of things happening there, right? That they claim is not their goal. So it just didn't really like line up for me.
Right.
So again, it kind of turned out, now looking at it in hindsight, this is a very opportunistic play for them, which tells me you don't really value the W. Like, I get it. You're like, hey, we're not here to hate on women, or we don't hate women, or things like that, which is fine. But it says the quiet parts out loud that we don't really value the W. We just know that we can use the W for a platform for what we want to push. Right. And so what the hard thing for me to do in that regard was just do the reporting, because obviously, clearly, I have thoughts as a journalist, and as a woman, and as someone who has covered this league for several seasons now, who has grown to appreciate what these players bring on the court, what these coaches, everyone. It's hard to be objective in that time, and like, hey, let me just get straight to the reporting, right? Y'all, I went on CNN to talk about this. Like, there's not any sort of reality. Well, oh, sorry.
Flex.
But I did. I got an interview request from CNN to talk about this, right?
Yeah.
And there's not any reality in my world of journalism where I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to like make one of the biggest scoops in my career because of sex toys. Like, that is not there's not anywhere in there, but that's part of my job, and part of what comes with the growth of the W, which is where I was going with this, is that unfortunately you're going to have some bad faith players in the space who feel like they can attach themselves to the growth of the W for the eyes, or for the hot takes, or whatever they feel their agenda is. And it's weird because people say, oh, well, that comes with growth, right? Like, you're a real league now because people are doing ridiculous stuff like this. No.
Yeah, because they
No.
invested in going into the game, but at the end of the day, they did it for their own purpose, and they did it for their, for their likeness, So I get where you're coming from there.
Yeah, and I agree. I guess where I would like to provide perspective, I guess, is how do you feel about people who run onto the field street, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's your take on, what's your take on it? I mean, clearly this one caught legs, you know what I'm saying, and that's a little different from somebody streaking. But I mean, also, I don't know if this is true or false, but during the Super Bowl performance, there was guys with Palestine flags running, free Palestine flags around on the Kendrick performance. So like, these are guys, the obvious difference is that these are one-time incidents, and this is this is something where they were clearly trying to get a point out. But what's your thoughts on that in comparison to?
Yeah, so it's hard, right? Like it's context, it's what's happening, it's the messages that you're sending. So like you're gonna have games where like, yes, somebody is streaking across the field, or they're, they have, you have someone just decides, hey, I want to run through the field and that sort of thing. Right. You have those games. And to me, while like I don't agree with it, like those are a lot lighter in nature in terms of like somebody clearly got the idea like this would be hilarious, funny, whatever, to do those sorts of things. Right. Okay. Where this becomes an issue for me is like, why do you feel like you have to do a sex object to get the attention that you need to, right? For in a space that is dominated by athletes that you clearly don't watch on a regular basis, right? It's dominated by women, right? So that's where, to me, it becomes a deeply unserious sort of logic. Like it's not anywhere rooted in maturity at that point. Like regardless of what they say, like it's not rooted there. I would equate it to the same thing of like, for example, there were sex toys thrown at a Bills game years ago, right?
Yep.
Same sort of childish sort of behavior where people think, oh, ha, 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 this is funny. But the thing is, if you're in your place of work and someone throws a sex toy across your place of work, you're going to be like, yo, like, are you serious right now? Like, I'm trying to work, right? Like, and that's where I think we have lost that perspective because, the league is growing. They're professional athletes. It's entertainment. Like this is their place of work here. And you should not have to be subjected to that. It's the same thing of like, if someone is running across the field, you shouldn't have to be subjected to that. That's a safety issue as well, because we've seen fans like go right up to players and that sort of thing. That's a safety issue. I would say, like, as far as the Kendrick, like Lamar situation, like to me, they knew they were taking a chance by having so many eyes on that performance, and hey, we want to send a message here as well. But to that point, it's also Kendrick in the middle of his element, all those dancers in the middle of the element, everybody there is in the middle of the element, and someone has essentially tried to take over the moment for their own agenda. I don't have an issue with you if you feel like, hey, this is the plight I want to take up. I'm not here to tell you what to protest and what not to protest. That's not where I'm going. But what I'm saying is that the whole point of those things is to be disruptive, but I think we often lose sight of the fact that this is people's jobs. This is people's like everyday sort of, bread and butter, right? And I think I would have an issue where if I'm at work and someone comes in disrupting me on a regular basis, and I'm being subjected to bedroom toys and essentially in my place of work, like I'm going to be like, are you like, is everything good? And not only that, we almost had a player be hit by one as well. So that's the other issue. You have
the kid be hit by one too, right? In the stands, right?
Right. So you've got people in the stands who are being subjected to this, like fans who they're going out to enjoy the game. They did not ask to be subjected to these sorts of things. So it's like, it's all these situations where like when we step back from it, you'll realize, okay, this is not something that can be sustained, or nor should it be sustained or encouraged. Like obviously this group's going to continue the way from what we talked to them. They have people, allegedly have people all over the globe. This is a global footprint. So like this will continue. But my concern is with at the W at large, and then as it gets out to other events, is like, when do we stop and say, how does this impact the human beings that are being, being subjected to this? And I think sometimes that gets lost in the conversation where everyone thought it was ha ha funny. But I'm not even gonna lie to you. Seeing at that first game, my first thought was not like ha ha funny. It was like, what is happening? What is going on? Like, why would you do this now? And in the place of someone's work, I'm also working too. I'm reporting on this game, right? I'm like, are we serious right now? Like, what is even happening? Not realizing it was going to continue to be a thing.
Yeah. It's a safety issue. I mean, all three of the examples that we kind of, detailed there, at the end of the day, all three things in common are that it's a disruption to the people that are performing the work on the field, court, or what have you. But I'm glad you put up the S word, because the safety part of it for me was more the critical one, is where, a player got hit with one. Somebody's kid in the stands got hit with one at the Liberty game, I believe it was. And so, I think, okay, fine. You want to, get attention, cool, but just know that there's consequences. You affect other lives by these actions, and I think that needs to be talked about a lot more.
Yeah, you've got people that have have records now because they've decided to, do these acts at games. Like, if you're cool with that, by all means, friend, like go right ahead. But like that, to me, when it says you're willing to risk that, you've officially lost the plot. You officially don't care about anybody other than what you have going on when you're willing to risk that. And so that's kind of where I just had to disconnect. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Look, trying to make money, because essentially that's what it sounds like to me. Trying to make money is not the best situation to continue a disruption. Look, I'm all for protests and disruptions and people expressing themselves as far as what they want their causes to be. But at some point, you gotta, like you guys are saying, determine like, all right, bro, this we got it off. Let's try to do something different. But we agree on that sentiment. Shout out to everybody who's really came to hear us talk about the AFC South that we have been pushing amongst our social media platforms, and saying that we were going to talk about our preview of the AFC South. We have Meghan Hall here, Colts enthusiast, fan. Let's talk about the AFC South. And I can't even begin to have a conversation with.
I'm about to say, you better not.
I can't even begin to start to have a conversation before we talk about Anthony Richardson losing the starting. I guess it was a competition, but losing to Daniel Jones.
Or was it ever actually his to lose? Because I feel like they knew who they wanted when they brought Daniel Jones in. That's just my opinion, but.
So here's the thing, and you can give your opinion, obviously, but this stems from last season around
the tap out
when he took himself out the game.
The tap out. This started from the tap out.
Why did he tap out though? Like, I think that gets lost in the conversation. Why did he tap out? Does anybody remember that? Why did he tap out?
No. But I want to know, so I'm gonna let you.
He said he was tired.
I mean, yes, but that's like to that point. Sorry to cut you off, Maestro, but it's just
no, you're good.
When I hear people say that, well, he tapped out, he quit on his team, blah blah blah. What was he doing before he tapped out, y'all? What was he doing? He had just ran about 50 yards in a circle trying to evade things because his offensive line couldn't block a nosebleed at the time and couldn't even get to the next play. So he took himself out because he could not breathe. Now, obviously, that's not a luxury he's afforded as a quarterback, right?
Okay.
Right? But my point being is, it's not like the man just got on the field and was like, you know what, man, forget this. Like, I'm out of here, and was like, doop, 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 let me tap this head so I can get out, right? Like, that's not what happened. I think that like gets lost in the situation. Is that like, why was he running in the first place? Like, why was he tapping out in the first place? And that's a much larger conversation.
So he ran a 50-yarder, so I gotta assume he got a first down. Hey, hand it off, bruh. Hand it off, bruh.
So obviously, right. There's a situation where, like, yes, you can either take the time out there. Obviously, everybody's gonna be pissed because you take the time out, but like, save yourself, take the time out, or live to the next play. See if you can check down to, check out of whatever you had to a handoff. Obviously, there's things you can do. I'm not dismissing that. I'm just saying, like, this tap out became such a bigger conversation of him like quitting, and it took off the responsibility of the Colts to actually provide for their quarterback. Like, this whole conversation that we've been having about the Colts is, they're just a quarterback away, right? They were never a quarterback away. It was always a ridiculous conversation. Like, please be so for real.
Who
So,
said
and as you can see,
that?
like, I'm a
Who
little
said
passionate
that?
about it, like, outside of W talk, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I know if I start talking about it, I'm gonna start ranting. But to that point, like, they were never just a quarterback away. Like, you've
Yeah.
not been competing in the AFC South nearly the entire tenure of Chris Ballard as general manager. You have one
Yeah.
playoff win in 9 seasons. You've had 8 different quarterbacks, just about, and I might be off by 1 or 2.
No division titles.
Like, yeah, 0 division titles, right? And somehow this is an Anthony Richardson like issue now or whatever else, and it just absolves everyone of the responsibility. Now, to that point, you bench him. You trot out Joe Flacco, who you told us gave you the best chance to win
To
and
win
make
the
the playoffs,
game.
right?
Even
I'm
though
not making this up. Go find
No,
the clip.
I remember.
This
I remember.
literally
No,
came
I
out of
remember.
Shane Steichen's mouth.
I remember.
And then Flacco was so bad that they had to go back to Anthony Richardson. And at this point, it's like, okay, what's even happening? Like, are we in the twilight zone? Because at this point, Anthony Richardson comes back, and then his wide receivers start dropping footballs, right? Then the Colts defense, like, which had been carrying the offense for what seems like most of the season, finally, like, just broke down. And then the Colts defense was terrible. Like, it was just a rolling snowball of yuck. And so now we've re-rolled the snowball of yuck, and we added Daniel Jones in here. And I knew it when they signed him. I said, that man's he's going to be the starting quarterback, right? Like, that was we're punting on Anthony Richardson sort of without saying it, right? Now this is just my conspiracy theory.
Sure.
Like, I'm taking my reporter hat off here. But like, that to me was the sign that they were already like, I don't care what they've said. I don't care what they've come out here and like, oh, we're going to give them a quarterback competition, that sort of thing. Neither guy necessarily separated themselves during the competition, but neither was
that I agree with.
But like, how do you come out with Daniel Jones as our dude, right? To me, that sounds like, well, Anthony is too much of a risk, and we want something that's safe, and we've got jobs on the line, so we're going to go with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I'm glad you said something about the jobs being on the line, because that's exactly what I think is going to happen at the end of this season, is that Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen, and more so Chris Ballard than anybody.
But hold on, Trey. I'm sorry.
What's up?
Daniel Jones is going to stop somebody from getting fired?
No, I said somebody's going to lose their job at the end of this year,
right?
And I think it's going to be the general manager.
Right, but I guess what I'm asking is if Daniel Jones was not brought to the Indianapolis Colts because they felt like he was going to come here and save Shane Steichen / Chris Ballard's job, it ain't nothing nobody saw on New York Giants film that made you feel like bring him in, he gonna be the answer.
Oh, I agree with that.
I can't imagine that an Indian. So what's the real reason? And this is more, I guess this would be more of a Meghan question than a Trey question.
Yep.
What's the real reason? Because Daniel Jones ain't good. Let's just say what it is. Daniel Jones is mid. Now, in Anthony Richardson so far has been mid at best. So it's like, to bring in another mid quarterback and quote unquote have a quarterback competition. Look, this is what I said when they brought in Daniel Jones. I did drink the Kool-Aid of quarterback competition, but what I said is that if Anthony Richardson is any type of a first round draft pick like we believed him to be, he should be able to beat out Daniel Jones, and this shouldn't be a big deal. But here we are. He didn't, like you said, he didn't separate. And you know, like love or hate it, that tap out is on his body. It's on his body, whether deservedly or undeservedly, it's on his body. So now it's like you got that on your body, and you had to know coming into the offseason it was on your body, because I remember reports of people feeling like they need to pull him to the side and say, "Hey, bro, we got you, we good. You just need to lock in and get it together." I remember those reports. But here we are going into the third week, and we already know who the starter is, because both of y'all kind of play that level. But what they saw from Daniel Jones, I guess, on practice film or whatever with the team was a little bit better than what they saw from Anthony Richardson, who's been there. Like, I need Meghan Colts fan to make it make sense because it's one or two things.
She can't make it sense. Make sense.
It's deeply unserious. Let's just start there. It's deeply unserious. Here's the thing. You know what you're gonna get with Daniel Jones, right? Like you kind of know his ceiling, which is fine.
Yep.
But that's also the safer choice and essentially in their eyes, right? Like with Anthony Richardson, you can see the ceiling, right? But he's a lot more, what's the word? Maybe volatile is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, volatile is the perfect word.
So that's probably not a risk that they're willing to take right now because you have two guys potentially who are fighting for the jobs, and maybe even three at this point, if you consider like assistant GM Ed Dodds underneath Chris Ballard, that sort of thing. But for at minimum, there's two guys, two dudes. So Chris Ballard is in year 9.
Yeah.
Year 9. And God rest his soul, but like Jim Irsay is no longer here to stump for you and to save you. So you have got to produce, right? His daughters are now owning the team. They are essentially making the calls here. So you've got to find something. You've got to find some stability. Shane Steichen's in year 3, but Shane's also on a weird sort of trajectory where he's gone from, wizard offensive mind to now we're not really sure if this dude can actually develop quarterbacks because we did bring him in and we went and got Anthony Richardson for hope that he could be potentially a Jalen Hurts, right?
Exactly.
That's what we were looking for. But that hasn't exactly happened. So now you are left with decisions. And they aren't exactly great ones, but they're safe ones, right? Let me go put Daniel Jones up here because I know that would probably keep my job for a little bit longer. I know that's a little bit more stable, right? The problem is Daniel Jones is not going to send you to the promised land. So you're going to be right back into this conversation, this cycle, if you will, at the end of the season. Because you got to start asking yourself again, Daniel Jones signed a 1-year deal. Remember that 1 year is 14 mil. So you're going to ask yourself again, what do we do at quarterback after the season? Are you going to go back and re-sign Daniel Jones? I probably highly doubt that. Are you going to go draft a quarterback again? Oh, you might not because neither of you might be here, right?
Yeah.
The new regime will probably do that. Or do you come back and say, well, now we believe in you, Anthony. Now we think that we could do something with you. Like it's at any rate and turn, this always points back to me in my mind at Chris Ballard. He had the opportunity to take a quarterback long before we got here now. And he declined to do it, right? Because it was, oh, well, you got to take the right guy. Oh, it's got to be this. It's got to be that. It's really hard, blah, 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 blah. I get that, Chris, but that's your job, right? They pay you the big bucks to do these things. Jim Irsay went and got you because he believed in you. He called you like the Michael Jordan of GMs, right? He compared you to that.
Yeah.
So, like, he clearly trusted you to get it done, right? So, listen, also deeply unserious statement, but that's not here nor there. But to that point, though, after Andrew Luck retired, in my opinion, within 2 seasons at least, you should have had a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
The draft that you gave up a first-round pick for, DeForest Buckner, that you gave up that pick to go get DeForest Buckner, which I love Buck. I think if you see my tweets, you know how much I'm a big fan of Buck and what he does as a super disruptor. But there is not a world that exists where I would not have either, one, kept Buck and went and got another quarterback with my 2nd-round pick or a 3rd-round pick, something up in those top rounds, or either not gotten Buck at all and went for stability and gotten a quarterback. Jordan Love was in that class. Justin Herbert was in that class. Jalen Hurts was in that. Like there were so many quarterbacks in that class who you could have gone and gotten. And Chris Ballard actually admitted this that if we hadn't gotten Buck, we would have probably drafted a quarterback, which is why I know this is deeply unserious, and we just continue to put band-aids and band-aids and band-aids on this position, hoping it would suddenly get better. And clearly, here we are, deeply unserious again, another band-aid. We have no stability at quarterback. Quentin Nelson was asked today how he feels about it, and they literally listed out all of his quarterbacks, and he's like, yeah, it kind of sucks when I look across the league. You got teams like the Chiefs where they've had Patrick Mahomes for what feels like, a lifetime.
A decade,
He's playing with his umpteenth quarterback. Like that is maddening for a locker room. I don't care what those guys say. They're good dudes. Then let me say that. They're really good. They're going to support Daniel Jones. They're going to support Anthony Richardson, whoever is at quarterback. The problem with that is that this cycle continues. It continues. And no one seems to be held accountable for it. Like, I don't know anybody who could keep their job and only have produced a single playoff win in 9 years and 0 division titles. Like, I am just flabbergasted at that kind of mediocrity that continued to get rewarded. Like, Chris Ballard certainly had his hits, certainly had players that he drafted that was fantastic. But
Mhm.
like overall, no. And as you can see, I could go all day on this because I've been sitting on this for like a full season at this point underneath all my W coverage. My Colts group chat, they've gotten the most of this. I've probably lit them up with like so
I'm
many
about to
like
say you almost chased Maestro away. I don't know where Maestro went with his camera there, but I was going to mention this, Megan. So you reminded me Matt Ryan was quarterbacking this team at one point. I'm thinking about all of the vets, the old guys, the Phillip Rivers, the Flaccos, the Matt Ryans, over the course of Chris Ballard's career there. I'm gonna bring up a team in the same division as yours that went through something similar, but there's certain things about it that are different. But the Titans, are the Colts trying to capture a Ryan Tannehill situation where you draft Mariota and granted Mariota, they went to the playoffs. He won a playoff game for them, beat the Chiefs that year, but there was this competition in camp and Tannehill comes in and somehow Tannehill gets the starting job, and then
Oh
next
no,
thing you know,
no. Let me cut you off right there.
what?
He smoked Mariota in the preseason and earned that job.
Okay.
He smoked
Like
them
I
in the
said,
preseason.
there's things that are slightly different than that, but I think, I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that it sounds to me like Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are trying to capture a Tannehill moment here, or around the league where you're seeing guys who didn't work out in their first stop and then they get to the second stop and they're doing something
Yeah,
well.
I think the major difference here, Trey, is neither one of these. I don't know if either one of these dudes are even Marcus Mariota. I ain't even going. I don't know if either one of these dudes.
That's a wild thing to say.
Yeah, I don't even.
After you just said he got smoked in camp, that's a wild thing to say.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think
Yeah.
they're as good as Marcus Mariota. That's what I'm saying. I don't even
Yeah,
think these
yeah.
two guys. I don't
It's
know
two
that.
extremes right there.
Yeah. I don't know if they're as good as Marcus Mariota right now. You know what I'm saying? God bless them. They got years to develop and maybe become better quarterbacks. But Tannehill, I mean, the foregone conclusion for Tannehill was he just wasn't in the right situation. That was the foregone conclusion for Tannehill.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw that about Daniel Jones. I think we just saw. I mean, sure, the Giants aren't the best franchise right now, and they didn't provide the best help, and they definitely let the one reason why they even made the playoffs that year go away. And then the Giants did some terrible things.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
This was I think this situation is a little, not even a little bit. I think a lot of bit different because and to the Titans' point, I mean, to their I guess what they were trying to achieve. Tannehill was good, and I never believed Super Bowl good, but he was definitely good for the Titans. He needed a running game,
right?
He needed a defense,
and that's what the Colts are hoping with this Daniel Jones thing. That hey, maybe this guy, he learned some things after being with the Giants, and maybe
what is he gonna learn,
start.
Trey?
Come on. What did he learn in New York?
What's he gonna learn?
Look, I don't agree. I'm just trying to predict what these dudes is thinking in Indianapolis.
You playing devil's advocate is what you're doing right now, sir.
Here's the thing. The last good season that Daniel Jones had was 2022, right? That's the year that sent him basically to the moon. Essentially,
and them numbers weren't even that great
all
for
that,
real.
right?
They were
trash. But they got him paid, right? They got him paid.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon got him paid.
That's part of the story too.
Yeah.
But
it is a story.
The issue is, since then, he has not been that guy, and there's a reason why he's no longer on the Giants. And so I think it's very laughable to think okay, Daniel Jones is going to give us the best hope here, or whatever else. Now, I will say this. I would hope that Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are having the conversations together, but I don't know if it's a situation where Chris Ballard went out and surveyed the market and got Daniel Jones and then got Steichen on board. It's like, hey, we need to try to see if there's something here. Okay, fine. Regardless of that, though, where I lose this is, again, how you came away with that Daniel Jones is better for you and your chances of winning and your chances of making something happen in this league than your 23-year-old quarterback who you knew was a project, who you knew you need to be
Exactly.
patient with, right?
Exactly.
And you said you would do that, and at the first sign of adversity, you're like, oh, nope, he's like, no, we're checked out. Now, granted, the injuries did not help Anthony Richardson. I will give you that. They did not help his case. But to that point, what were the Colts doing to develop him? And I don't think I've been able to get that answer from a whole lot of people, because I don't think a whole lot of people, myself included, really know. And I feel like if you are going to draft a guy that you know needs development, that you know needs help, right? The reps are the most important. You're going to live with the ugly, right?
Yep.
You got to ride that ride. For better or for worse, you got to ride that ride. You made this decision. Again, I have lived on this. Like, this is nothing against Anthony, but if you make this decision several seasons before, you're not in this position now where you're having to play musical quarterbacks, and then you finally draft a quarterback, but he needs, a lot of work. He needs some refinement. He only had 15 starts before he, got this job. Like, unfortunately for Chris Ballard, he's found himself in several predicaments when it comes to drafting talent of dudes who are freakish athletes. If they have a Ross score that is 9 or above, like Chris Ballard is in love. Like, he's definitely like, yeah, like, bring me that dude, right? Which is great, but like, you want more. And I'm not saying Anthony isn't more, but what I'm saying is that those tangibles right there shot Anthony up the draft boards for a lot of people or whatever else. And in my opinion, I think it somewhat clouded the reality of, you need to be patient with him, right? You've got to ride through those things. So that's where I feel like they have not given him the best opportunity to do that. Like, if we had 3 full seasons of this, of Anthony Richardson, and then you were like, all right, like, this dude, like, is not okay, fine, I could buy that. We haven't even gotten that, right? We have not gotten that in that retrospect. So again, this whole move to bring in Daniel Jones was deeply unserious from the very beginning. It's not going to fix things, like, in this sort of motion. And then here's the other thing. You are currently in the middle of what should be an ascension for you. As a GM, as a franchise, right? Like, the Colts were once good, which it's been a long time since we've called the Colts good, right? The Colts were a winning franchise. It's been a long time since you've been there, and now the rest of the AFC South is slowly pulling away from you, right? And you're getting left behind because of these decisions. Now, I say this on the outside, I'm not there making decisions every day, but these people are paid to do this because this is their expertise. So we're trusting you to make those decisions, right? And so when you trot out a Daniel Jones and say, yep, this is our guy for the rest of the season or whatever else, I don't blame Anthony Richardson's agent today for saying, yeah, I'm not sure about the trust with the organization. Anthony even comes out and says, hey, yeah, right now I'm an Indianapolis Colt, right? Which lets you know that he's not even sure of his future with the Colts. Like, Anthony is a positive kid, so I don't think he's ever going to come out and like trash the Colts or anything else like that, right? But like, clearly to me, that said, like, yeah, this is probably not a good situation right now for him. And if I'm Anthony, if I'm the Colts, I would at least have an honest conversation about what a trade looks like at some point for this dude, right? Like, he's got to go to a situation where either he can be utilized or someone can be patient with him, whatever. But like, it's clearly not going to be in Indianapolis. And I think we just need to be honest about that conversation. Like, cut your losses, go for it, wherever you're going to do. But like, everybody be honest about what the situation currently is.
Hot take here. I would take him as a backup on the Ravens.
Hell yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people would probably like do that.
I would take him as a backup in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I mean, here's the other thing, and just do with this information what you will, but there's a clip from a while ago of Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, like, going up to AR and, saying, hey, dude, like, you're a bad dude, right? Like, he knew the type of potential that AR has. So, again, people take that with a grain of salt. But, like, I make notes of those sorts of things because I'm like, maybe potential linkage later if you know that the team, like, kind of admires, like, what they do. Now, obviously, the Vikings quarterback situation is kind of all over this place currently. But, like, these are things that, like, could happen. There is a world, I think, that exists where Anthony Richardson's not even on this team by the time the trade dedeadline comes around. Like, that is
100%.
very,
that's
very
on the table,
possible.
yeah.
And
100%.
Yeah, and I think we should be on it. Like I said, we should be honest about that. Like, this is a situation in which it exists. I think as a fan of the Colts and as someone who's written about them as well, like, it is all right. I could. It's deeply hurt because I feel like it's not like the Colts, have a history of, doing the best by quarterbacks, or anything else like
Yeah.
that. It's not like there's some quarterback named Andrew Luck who, was just treated like royalty by the Colts. Like this is a pattern by the organization now. And it's not the first, unfortunately, not the first quarterback who has not had all the tools that they needed to succeed, which unfortunately ended up hurting Andrew Luck, and he retired early because he had put so much on the line. And they didn't give him enough offensive line protection, not enough weapons, those sorts of things, during his year. So I could go all day on this, but
one last question for the Colts, and I promise everybody we will talk about the rest of the AFC South. Over under 6 games.
You're asking a lot here.
It's really not, because
I honestly haven't thought about it, but like.
man, they in the running for the number 1 pick, man.
I don't know about 6. Like, I don't know if they'll win 8 games. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny with you. Like, I don't know that. We were dealing with a ton of early injuries in camp. That's also not helpful right now. So yeah. Maybe I'll go the over and say
7. Great. That's what I said. So like you're saying 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I'll say 7.
I think they're a 4th place team in that division.
We agree there. We all agree there.
Yeah.
We all agree there.
For sure. About the rest of this division, though, the Texans appear to be the favorites, although I don't like that they don't have enough weapons on the wide receiver side of things. They don't keep Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell hasn't come back from the injury yet, so we don't know how long he's going to be out. And as far as the Titans go, I'm gonna just say
don't know.
We don't know, right? We don't know, but if you're asking me, is there a sleeper team that could make the playoffs or potentially win this particular division in the AFC South? I put my money on the Titans.
Really?
I put my money on the Titans.
That's a little spicy there. That's a little spicy.
Yeah. I don't know what the odds are, but
big believer in Cam Ward.
Yeah,
I like Cam Ward. I like him. I mean, we have to see him on the field in the NFL game for sure. But
who are you throwing to? Tyler Boyd?
Is he on the roster? Because I thought somebody said he was out there.
Is he still on the team, Tyler Boyd?
Do I need to actually look up the Titans wide receivers that are
Ain't that dude Nikhil Westbrook on there?
Nick Keenan Westbrook, yeah.
Traylon Burks.
I think Traylon
Burks is gone.
Oh, he's gone.
He got hurt.
Okay, good will. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I gotta say, I mean, obviously, I'll say this. Obviously, the Texans are the front runners to win a division. But if we're talking about number 2, I'm going to lean towards Jacksonville. I'm going to lean towards Jacksonville.
Okay.
I mean, the Titans currently have obviously this is preseason roster. There's a bunch, but there's not a name out here that really stands out to me. Van Jefferson is one. Tyler Lockett's probably together. But I mean, listen. Calvin Ridley is still on that roster.
True.
I don't consider that a standout until I see the Calvin Ridley of old. So but
that team on paper is not. Yeah, you wouldn't in your right mind.
I had to look it up because I was in my mind, Calvin Ridley came to mind, and I was like, who's that after? So that's why that's partially why I looked it up, because I was like, dang, they've had a lot of
about Calvin Ridley.
But man, that tells you how much shuffling they had. I don't know if I buy the Titans getting a playoff spot, only because we just don't know what Cam Ward will bring. I'm not saying Cam will be terrible. It's just you just don't know what he'll bring.
We don't know. Yeah, sure.
Maybe they get a playoff spot because the Colts are so terrible, and maybe there's something there. You also have to figure out are the Jags for real? Are the Jags finally going to put it all together? Right, that's one thing. And then for the Texans, can CJ Stroud get out of what people consider a sophomore slump? Right.
Right.
So,
offensive line has had issues in Houston, and they haven't really done much to really help that in the offseason? Like who they just let go of on that offensive line? Went to Tunsil. Then they traded Tunsil to the Commanders, right?
Commanders, yeah.
Yeah, one of their best offensive
tells you
linemen.
how deep I've been in like WNBA because I'm having to unlock parts of my mind that I have not like used in a minute. Yeah, I think for them, I worry about the offensive line for the Texans.
Yeah.
I also worry about weapons as well, right? You just also traded Mechie too, which obviously Mechie wasn't adding a ton, but still, it's another body, it's another depth. And I just think for them, Nico Collins is probably going to be your big guy right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, from there, like,
where?
I mean, I think the Texans still win the division. Like, I'm not, you know,
it's a safe pick for sure.
Yeah, I still think they win the division.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't even. I mean, safe, sure, but I don't need. Damn near, I'll ink it in. I'd ink it in.
No,
right
that
now.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with you inking it in.
I'd put money on that right now, and I'd be confident that I'd win that bet if I was a betting man.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah,
that's probably fair.
majority would side with you.
I would even go further to say that there is nobody else in this division that are making wild card appearances.
Oh, of course not. Of course, not.
So they
of course not.
I am all the way asleep on the Titans making a wild. And again, that's not to say they're going to. I mean, sure, they might be a 8-win team this year, maybe. If their defense plays well, I don't know what their schedule looks like, but I mean, when you're talking about the rest of the conference, I mean, look, bruh, you got to talk about the Broncos. Well, let me say, a lot of people are talking about the Broncos going into this year. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are talking about the Chargers maybe making you know what I'm saying? That's
and then there's the AFC North.
And then there's the North. And then there's the North. So you know, it's going to be the Texans, and then it's going and everybody else, you know, good luck.
Yeah. I had to go look at the Texans like weapons because this is how long the offseason is. And Christian Kirk is with the Texans, and I completely forgot about that. I was like, I know I'm forgetting somebody. They also didn't they draft a couple of receivers this year too? Like I know I'm not bugging on that, right? Like they drafted
nobody. Look, don't make me and Trey super college football people because we ain't.
But they drafted 2 wide receivers, right?
I know they did draft. I know they drafted at least one. Don't give me the
line. Okay, so Jaden Higgins was the one, and then Xavier Hutchinson was the other. I know I wasn't like losing my mind because I'm like
Higgins is like that.
It might take me a second. Again, it's been hidden in the back of my mind because I've been living in like WNBA land for months now. But like, I knew that they had drafted a couple of dudes too. Obviously, you got to wait and see what you have in there. But like, it's not like they have no one. But yeah.
But it's just really for me, it's just the scope of everybody else is so bad. Where are you gonna find it? You know what I'm saying? The Texans, Mixon is there. Look, Mixon is there. Their defense is decent. You know what I'm saying? They got pass rush, so they got a pass rush. They got one of the better secondaries, in my opinion. You know, so it's really just a matter of, for me, what they've done, what's on paper. I mean, they could win.
And honestly, they don't have to be great. Like, honestly, they don't
win it with 9, 10 games.
They don't have to win 12, 13 games.
That is the state of the AFC South right there.
Yeah. You know?
9 games might win you the division.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, and again, devil's advocate, but when the margins is that really thin that it only takes 10 to win the South, like, you could look at the other teams, and I know you would put Jacksonville over Tennessee, and I can understand that with the talent. And, you know, that Jags team actually did go to the playoffs a couple of years ago, you know, under Doug Peterson. So there is still some talent there. But, I mean, would it stun anybody if somebody said Jacksonville maybe could, you know, contend for 9 wins in the South?
Yes. No.
Yes.
Well, I would say I would say no because, again, anything could happen, right? The Texans could haul off and be terrible. They could go on a really big losing streak, or the Jags could go on some wild, like, winning streak. Like, we've seen that type of stuff happen in the division over the last couple of years where, like,
Yeah.
the Jags, like, skidded their way into the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Like, we've seen that. Or you've seen the Texans come from behind and snatch the division from the Colts. Like, you've seen that sort of thing. That just reminded me of Gardner Minshew, but
I was going to say, how long ago was that? Did that happen?
Oh yeah, he was another quarterback.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. But to that point, yeah, no, it wouldn't like surprise me. But I feel confident in saying that I believe Houston wins like this division with no problems. Unless Trevor Lawrence finally lives up to that like hype.
That's why I say Jacksonville.
All right.
That's why I say
Jacksonville
Jacksonville
could probably make some noise. But for the Titans, you're kind of playing with house money this year. Like whatever you do with Cam Ward at the helm, like is great, right? That's house money. You take
less
that
expectations,
quarterback. Way less.
Yeah. You just play freely. You know, ain't got to worry about anybody's job getting lost or anything like that. So yeah, I get it. The ceiling. I mean, there is a ceiling. I will say with Tennessee that there is a ceiling. We don't know how far it can go. We just predict on paper that it's not going to be very far.
Yeah, we're not expecting nothing. I'm not expecting nothing from Cam Ward. Just don't turn the ball over too much. Don't do nothing too crazy. Just take this year like most rookies should and learn. You ain't nobody asking you to be a superstar your first year. I'm not a big college football watcher, but I know what's been said about Cam Ward, and nothing about what's been said in highlights I've watched says to me that he's about to come in here and light the league on fire.
Yeah,
especially
Cam Ward is.
Especially with everybody around him. Now I was gonna say, especially with the team around him. It's like, it's like it's not even like if you wanted to compare it to the Commanders last year and Jaden Daniels, at least, they had a number one guy. They had, in McLaurin. They had a safety blanket in Zach Ertz. They had, a sturdy, Brian Robinson. While even though he didn't hit home runs, you can in the grind, he that guy, and then Eckler coming behind him, and then who had a underrated season, Jeremy McNichols in Washington last year. So it's just, and then with the defense, this ain't that situation. He's not walking into the same situation that Jaden Daniels walked into. So just in comparison of somebody who how you might be able to light the league on fire, he's not walking into that situation where they got weapons around them, and if he could just so happen, and then the underrated player, that offensive line in Washington last year, so it's just so many factors that have to come together for a rookie quarterback to come in and light the league up, and it just ain't in Tennessee.
Did we say that about Stroud his first year? Because I remember some conversation.
I don't recall being big on Stroud.
Stroud was so remember Stroud had that really good game against Georgia, even though they didn't win. Stroud had that really good game against Georgia, and that elevated his draft stock, right? Sent him up the draft boards.
Yeah.
But still, there was a lot of conversation about what you would get from CJ Stroud. Could he put it all together?
Right.
And I think he became the conversation, right? His first year, it was oh, did we underestimate CJ Stroud?
Because we didn't know about Nico Collins, we didn't know about Tank Dell, we didn't know about those guys.
Yeah, and they had some really early synergy that I think took a lot of people by surprise, especially so Tank Dell, obviously smaller dude in stature, but plays much bigger than what he actually is. Him and CJ had developed that chemistry early on in training camp. It lit up on the field, but then here comes Nico Collins, kind of I won't say out of nowhere, but he had this small sort of window, and he took it and he blew up real quick. And so then he became your deep threat guy. Then he became your guy that you were looking for. And I think what they realized is they had an opportunity to really do something special and get into the playoffs. You had all these other teams, Colts included, Jags included, of course. The Titans were a mess regardless. But to that point, I won't say they bullied their way into the playoffs, but it was a very much methodical sort of march there that really showed people. This dude has poise in the pocket. This dude is accurate, really very, very accurate for a rookie at the time. So I think that conversation wasn't there when he was first drafted, but he made it the conversation. I mean, because there there was a game I'm thinking about towards the end of the season, which is why I brought up Gardner Minshew, where the Colts and the Texans are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in this game, and this came down for the division, right? Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Mhm.
Texans walk away with that. They get into the playoffs, and they had a fantastic first playoff game. Like you couldn't have asked for anything better at that point. It was all house money.
Yeah, and I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I knew he was special because he smoked Pittsburgh. He smoked us week 3 or week 4.
Week
early in
3,
that.
I think that was.
Yeah, week 3. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at like, who the hell is these? Like, they was, and I was on. I had to cut the game off. I was like, who are these? I was mad. Like they was. I said, okay, and I came on the show that next week and said, nah, the Texans might be for real. the Texans,
Yeah. Because prior to that, we was like,
you know,
it's his first year. You know, they just gonna, figure out, go through the doldrums and all that stuff. But then they just come out on fire, and they win 10 games his first year.
They had a good secondary too, as well. Stingley
Yeah.
too.
Stingley is, yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good. Hey, Megan, this was fun. Appreciate having you back on with us to talk some W and some NFL. Let everybody know where they could find you at on social media, and let the people know some of the things you got coming up.
Yeah. So first, thank y'all for having me. Hopefully, it won't be 2 years before you see me again. But you can find me on pretty much every social media platform. It's all the same. It's ITS Megan with an H because I'm a little fancy. L Hall. So it's Meghan L Hall on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Threads, on Instagram. It's all the same. So you can find me there. You can find my work on ftw.usatoday.com. That's For the Win's website. For the Win rolls up into the USA Today umbrella. And then you can also find me on usatoday.com. Several columns there and videos there that I've done. As far as stuff I got coming up, I actually have something coming tomorrow. It's a really big feature piece that I've been working on for several months now that I'm really proud of. It is probably the first kind of piece I've done. Like, I know at For the Win, we do a lot of like bloggy type stuff and deeply unserious posts all the time, but we do write serious stuff too. And this is definitely a serious piece, and it's a really, really good look at a particular topic that a lot of people have been talking about. So I don't want to give away too many things, but I'm really excited, really proud of that. And yeah, it's something, like I said, I've been working on for about 3 months now. So super excited for that. Beyond that, you'll see more interviews from me throughout the year. If you've been following me at all, you've probably seen some really big ones from several big names in the W space. Everyone from, I would say, Caitlin Clark and on, like I've probably talked to this year. So I've been really blessed and fortunate in that regard. So yeah, you'll probably see some more interviews from me. And then to be honest with you, I'm not really quite sure what else will come from me this year. I know we're going to cover some more women's sports. So college volleyball is coming up. That starts this week. And so we'll dive a little bit deeper into that. It's not too far off, but women's college basketball is coming back in November. So we'll definitely be all over that as well. In WSL, we've been doing a little bit of coverage there as well. So yeah, we're opening up that women's sports like bag for sure. So I am not quite sure all of what the future holds. I hope to continue like my journey here at USA Today, and just continue doing what I do best, which is telling stories. And I have finally figured out this little part in my stories that I am the context person. So if there's something that like people are asking about, I do a really good job at explaining and adding context. So that is my lane. I figured out after 2 years in this space. And so yeah, if you've got questions, you got thoughts, whatever else, ask me. I'm happy to tell you I do not know, or I'll point you to who does know, or I'll give you my thoughts and then add context. So
that's the way life should be.
That's the way life should be. Self-awareness. We love that. We love that. Hey Megan, we appreciate you, and we will see you in these internet streets. Be safe out there, and God bless.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you.
Meghan Hall, Hollywood.
Appreciate her stopping
for sure.
Here.
For sure. Hey man, so that was good, man. I think we could go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Before we go ahead throw some promotions up there before we get up out of here, man. Just reminding everybody. on go get scan that QR code if you haven't, and I see some of you have it. Go ahead, scan that thing and get the 10-year anniversary t-shirts, white, black, limited, exclusive. When we sell out, we not making them again. So if you support the movement, you want this rare exclusive piece of art, merchandise, go ahead and scan that QR code and go ahead and spin with the good podcast. Post up, bring the other one up. We got the snapbacks. I got it on. Hold on, let me show it so you can see it. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Got the gray joint. I just like
There
wearing
we
my
go.
hats backwards, but we got the gray joints going. Hey, scan that QR code. We got a few left. Are we making any more? Probably not.
Probably not. Even though I like those ones, but
but
I like the gray. I like the gray. I'm going back and forth between that decision, but these ones, I'm definitely not gonna be making these ones again. But I got several of them in stock, folks. So you see that QR code on the screen if you're watching us. We got a bunch of them, on sale. And again, we got a brand new site with all these items on there. So
scan the QR
know,
code. Just scan the
sure.
QR code. And
Yeah,
we got you. Lastly, but certainly not least, we gotta remind you, September 13th, the fight party, Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast fight party, Nottingham's Tavern, 8850 Stanford Boulevard in Columbia, Maryland. $25 at the door, or you can scan the QR code. We're gonna set a QR code up for y'all so y'all can purchase them drinks before the day. Hey man, come chop it up with us. We're gonna take pictures, we're gonna have merch, we're gonna watch the fight, we're gonna chop it up, talk shit, man. So make sure if you want to come talk to us, come holler at us, watch the fight. We team Crawford over here. Just so you know. But we do welcome Canelo fans. We welcome you. But we Crawford over here. But make sure y'all come through, man. We gonna have the merch, we're gonna have all that, we're gonna do everything, we're gonna have some good fun, have some good drinks and fellowship and watch the fight, man. So definitely get ready for that. September 13th, 8:30 is the time we gonna start and chop it up with us, man.
And again, for the good folks out there, I will share links throughout our social media on how you guys can purchase tickets for this event. So, be on the lookout for that for the next couple of weeks. You'll be able to, pay your $25 and get on the guest list so that when you get to the establishment, you're well taken care of. So, appreciate that. Appreciate Meghan for coming through tonight.
For sure.
Appreciate the folks in the chats. My guy Pays and Plays podcast is in there.
Yes, sir.
My boy Keontae's in there.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the folks watching on Instagram Live as well. My guy Courtney Harden's in here. He had a good show last night with Breezy on there.
Okay.
We got Mike Patton in the IG live chat. We also got my guy Facts and Stats on here as well.
Yes, sir.
So we appreciate the support on that side as well. Continue to follow us, folks. Click the like button on the Facebook page. Also follow us on social media, on YouTube. Click the subscribe button. Let people know where we're located. Also, we're on Twitch. We're on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. You can find that guy, Maestro Styles, at every social media platform at Maestro Styles. Well, not everyone, but
everyone.
Everyone. You on
every social
threads too?
Okay. Maestro Styles at Maestro Styles. Yeah, for sure.
All right, no doubt. And you can find me at Trey Frazier on Instagram and everywhere else but Twitter. The Twitter handle you see right there, Barbershop SPOR2. If you got questions or comments, you want to email us, you can hit us up at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com.
Hey, let me plug one more thing, man. Because I have not been doing a good job of announcing this album that I produced that's coming out on Sunday. Very specifically, Andrew Jackson and myself, Satori,
The new album, it will be out on digital platforms on Sunday, August 24th. I'll post something to let y'all know, but it'll be out on Sunday. I bet if you follow me, you've seen the promotions of the videos of us putting the project together. Definitely it will be out on the 24th. Dope music. If you into hip hop, I got it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And again, just to remind folks, we're also on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, also iHeartRadio. Just drop us a review on any of those platforms, and it goes a really long way into how you guys support us and support this podcast. So, look, a dope show covering, the AFC South. We got a dope one next week doing the AFC West. Love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there, folks. And as always, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh yeah, we got him. Trey Frazier and Maestro Styles, we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.